Hello?
What's up?
Uh,
What's going on?
just one bit.
How do you say your name?
Sikra.
Secreta. Okay. I
Yeah, just
mispronounced
Sikra.
I mispronounced the bullshit out of your name. I called you fucking Sriracha.
Where's the A there?
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, oh shit, that's not Sriracha. But uh so you wanted to debate a mixed economy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your position on a mixed economy? What's your stance?
First, I would like for you to define what would be your ideal mixed economy.
So my ideal mixed economy would be basically where we have a balance of capitalism and socialism, basically. In my ideal economy, there would be no money in politics. Now, that would be like a separate issue because that deals with like corruption, and that isn't inherently a problem with socialism because socialism does work out, like a mixed economy with capitalism. It does work out, and there are examples of that that I could give you.
Do you mean like China?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. China is Marxist Leninist.
Isn't like what do you mean then a mix of socialism and capitalism? Do you
So
just mean
I would
more
put
state regulation?
so a good example that I'd like to point at is the Nordic countries like Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and
Mm,
Germany as well too. They have really high taxes, and they use those to fund their social programs, and it works out really well for them. And they're consistently ranked one of the highest quality of life countries in the world, and they are also consistently ranked high in their economic growth as well. There are
there's
other countries that have mixed economies that people like to say don't work, like Spain, Venezuela, uh, and Italy, but like those are problems with corruption and not with socialism inherently.
okay. So, firstly, the northern countries are very full of natural resources. So it's like saying that capitalism works based on Arabia. Like, of, of course, if you're full of natural resources, yeah, you're gonna be fine. And of course, I prefer this model to just pure and unregulated capitalism. That's obviously better, but there are problems. There are still problems of corruption. There are still problems of like most of the northern countries, not Germany, have basically stopped the homelessness, but that's only on paper. Like, okay, now you have a home. Are you going back into society, or are you just gonna, or are you just living on government paychecks and that's it? Like, you're you're just a different kind of poor.
So you're saying that the Nordic countries have the reason that they're so successful is because they have high resources.
Mostly. Or they have previous accumulated wealth.
So you don't think that any of that wealth could be accumulated like due to like their balance between like capitalism and socialism? I mean, they also
Most
like
of
they also like yeah, a lot of these countries take like very like a lot better approaches to like their crime as well. Like people like to say that like socialism doesn't work because it creates people that are into crime and whatnot, but these countries also consistently rank lower than the average for crime.
Yeah, there is a reason for that. The reason for that is that they are very low populated nations respect to the wealth that they have. And they've made a better
It
job
doesn't that
than America at
popul
spreading the wealth.
hold on, population doesn't matter. It's per capita. It's adjusted for
What do you
population.
mean?
It's per capita. So when a statistic is per capita, population is irrelevant because it goes per like 100,000 people.
No,
That's how so
population
like
is relevant because if you have, let's say, a huge amount of oil in a very small area, yeah, that area is going to be rich if you redistribute even a little bit of the money that you earn. Doesn't mean that the economic system is right. It just means that you have very good amount of wealth based on your natural resources.
but that doesn't wealth doesn't just mean that there's no crime this is violent crime.
Yeah, you're right. The reason that, for example, they have a much better crime, much lower crime than America, which is the strongest power in, at least capitalist power, is that they actually spread their wealth better than America. So a lot of, let's say, minor offenses just don't happen. People don't go around
No,
like
these
robbing places
they're
at gunpoint because it's not doable.
these are statistics for homicides.
Ah, you were talking about homicide?
Yeah, that's why I mentioned specifically violent because it's like pretty
Yeah,
they're like
violent
the most
crime.
violent.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. For homicide in general, one other good thing about spreading your wealth even a little bit is that people just don't go insane out of poverty. Like they don't need to be stressed so much to find a job if the government just pays you a minimum amount of money or guarantees housing. Like that's a good thing, but it's still like there are still problems in those systems. You mentioned Germany,
Hmm.
and Germany, one respect to those countries has a much larger population and has a much higher problem with wealth inequality. Those countries, those northern countries, have a problem with wealth inequality too. It's just that it's not felt. It's not felt because even like the people that have like a fuck ton of money, like don't involve themselves in politics that much, and that's not the case for Germany. Like in those northern countries, there are like very strong union, and that's
Right.
mostly
So
why they are keeping their, let's say, foothold on politics.
exactly.
But
So
if
but this is exactly this is my that's my ideal scenario, right? Where there is no there's at least there's as least money involved in politics as possible, and we see when that happens, socialism it works very well as well mixed with capitalism works very well as an economic model.
Germany is very much involved in politics, and the
Well, that's
European Union as a whole is like, do you know that the building in which the European Parliament is like is there? A building over there's like all the major corporations. Like the politicians just finish working and then they go to the major corporations to strike deals.
where is this at?
It's I f- I don't know the pronunciation. Fuck, I don't know it in English. Bruxelles. It's in Bruxelles.
What is that a country?
Yeah, and it's also the name of the capital, I think. No,
For,
no, no. It's the name of the capital, and the country is. Uh,
can you type it in the
it's a
chat?
very small country. I always forgot.
Type the name of it in the chat.
Ah, yeah, Belgium.
Oh, Belgium.
Yeah,
Well, Belgium is a horrible example of.
of what?
Well, they're not. They're extremely authoritarian.
No, no. I just. This is the place where the European Union like does its thing.
Yeah, this is like Belgium was where like a lot of corruption happens. So
What do you mean?
you're saying like that the politicians that they just go to. What you're saying the EU parliament?
Yeah, that's where the EU Parliament is held.
Oh, oh. Well, who specifically are you talking about? And what corporations are you referring to? And what does this have to do with how the economic models are working in the Nordic countries?
The thing is, if by Nordic countries you mean like
Sweden, Denmark. Uh,
exactly those are countries that, thanks to the previous exploitation of capitalism, have gained a very high amount of wealth and now can live off of that. Like this is not like it's like
they're not
saying that
living off of it.
capitalism works based on Saudi
That's
Arabia.
that's not how economics work. You don't just like it, that's not how it works. They fund their socialistic policies through high taxes.
Yeah, but how do those people gain the money that they are using to tax? How do they gain the money?
Capitalism. That's why it's a
No, no, no.
myth.
Yeah, so exploitation. You're
No,
right.
no. Capitalism it doesn't have to be exploitative. Doesn't have to be.
Okay, so um
It can
those
be.
countries. Okay, maybe you don't know. I'm European. I know those countries are not rich because they made, say, very good companies, or like those countries are rich for two things. They have a great amount of resources, and they exploited the other parts of the world. That's how they got their wealth.
Who's exploiting? You're gonna have to name some countries here. Who? What? I've never heard of Sweden going around exploiting the world.
Oh my
Uh,
god. Okay. If you don't know about the history of those countries that you use as an example, maybe you should like
I need you
know
to
about it
know.
before.
Tell me. Present your argument. You need to present an argument. So tell me. You can't just
I
say, "Oh,
already presented my argument,
you."
but
Well, tell enlighten me. You have to tell me what is it. I want you to back your claim up that you're saying that these Nordic countries, which specifically which ones were exploiting other countries and how were they doing it?
okay. Do you know the like in the early stages of capitalism, there were these things called like corporations that basically had government fundings. Did you know? Like what Britain did. You know,
What? Who did?
Britain. Like
Oh, Britain. I
yeah,
mean,
Britain.
I'm not too familiar with like EU policy in general, but I'm just like because
No, it's
I'm from the
like this
U.S.
is history. Like, do you know about the Indian Trading Company?
Say it again.
The like you know about like the company that was owned by the basically the state of Britain, that was the reason why India was colonized and why Indian was like
What company
addicted
was it?
to opium.
What? What? It wasn't it the tobacco companies or something?
They also traded tobacco, yeah, but mainly it was like they were a company that basically was enslaving India.
Right. I know that Britain colonized India, and they were fucking doing their bullshit over there. But what
Yeah, and
company?
basically those
What company?
countries, I don't remember the name. You can look it up. It's like it's history.
Well,
But
come
what
on,
I was
don't
talking
do.
about before is that those countries had similar companies founded by the same in the same way by the crown that exploited the other part of the world in Africa, in the uh, basically that area. Plus, they have a lot of natural resources, so like that's the problem.
It was the British East India Company.
Yeah, that one, and they had the same thing. Like those were countries that, based on luck, had or previous,
Okay,
let's
but
say,
hold on. This is here's the problem with this. The problem with that is that they had a complete monopoly on trade, right? And in my ideal model, socialism is supposed to be the part that checks monopolies, keeps them in check. The
yeah.
monopolies are not supposed to exist.
Okay, for example, let's say that thanks to a previous monopoly that now is gone, a country has a very high amount of wealth that they can invest, and they invest it on themselves. And this is the reason why they can
I
afford to
mean,
pay
they're not
for.
rolling in fucking cash like that. It's not like they're just fucking infinitely rich. Like they have to continue. Like they're it just being rich. Like it's not like they just amassed like fucking a ton of wealth and then just like spend it. Like they have to like the U.S. also has a massive amount of wealth, right?
Mhm.
But we have the
Yeah,
Federal Reserve, right? And
yeah,
like it's about how you spend it, and these countries they spend it, and when they spend it right and you funding socialistic policies using taxes to also fund those policies, it increases the quality of life for the people as we've seen in the Nordic countries.
yeah. But those countries, based on the amount of wealth they have, if you talk about Sweden and others, to the amount of wealth that they have a low population. The other country that you've spoken of, Germany, while being better than most of the other countries in Europe, still has problems. The problems are mainly the fact that, since like
But that
basically since the wall was broken, the regulation that were put in place to guarantee social wellness are being slowly eroded.
right, but
That's
so
one
so
problem.
so that is a problem, right? But like
Yeah,
that
but
that that's
who
a
is doing the erosion?
the what?
Who is eroding at those regulations?
That's because obviously it's the capitalists, right?
Yeah,
There's a corruption problem, right? So that's the problem with Germany, right? They're not the ideal. Like you said, the Nordic
you
countries have
excited
union.
them.
They have union control, right? So they have control over their democracy.
Yeah, but
I don't.
those are small.
In a
As I
democracy,
explained to you, as I explained to you, those countries are well off, because for the amount of
it's because
population.
it's a democracy. It doesn't matter. They have a population. They are a democracy, and they use that democracy to to enact change in a way that is progressive and works for them.
Okay, I can give you an example. Do you say? Do you know about Combia? Wait, that's not the right name.
Colombia?
Basically, it's a country in Africa that basically is the world supplier of a metal that is necessary to build cell phones.
You're talking about cobalt.
Yeah, cobalt.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different countries in Africa. They're
Yep,
being exploited by China right now.
you're right. Let's say that those countries that basically have all the cobalt in the world decide to unite. They unite.
Uh-huh.
They make a union of, let's say, producer of cobalt, and they set the price very high, and they make a fuck ton of money because of that. And now that they have like, and now they become the world's superpower of doing this. They just bring enormous amount of wealth because those products are needed. And let's say the only one that they spend that money on is themselves. Like they become very isolationist. They allow that money to only be used for that economy. Would you say that is like a right thing to do? Like, would you say that monopolizing a resource to make a lot of money and then use that money only for yourself, would you say that's a good thing?
Would I say that's a good thing if a country, so if a country has resources, right? And let's say that they use those resources to strengthen their population, right? So let's say it's a country specifically. I want to let's say the U.S., right? We have a lot of
Hmm.
problems in the U.S., right? If what we did was we actually let's say we cut off all of our help, right, for a little while, right? That we fund a lot of shit in the world, right? Let's say
Okay.
for a while we just say fuck that, right? We got to focus on us, right? I'm not an isolationist, right? I'm a globalist,
Just for the sake of the example.
but yes, for the example, let's say we did that and we actually focused on our issues, we would have a lot of highly skilled, highly educated people that have the means to do a lot of effective shit, right? And
If you
what
talk about isolation, no, because you would have to do the job that you need, for example, to have like food, to have
Oh
like
well, I'm not saying like cut off like trade. Like trade would still. When I'm saying like aid, like no unnecessary like aid and stuff like that. Any type of trade, but like
okay.
still, I'm still like against like not giving aid to countries that need it, just because of the fact that like we are the number one economy in the world. But
Okay, go
if
back to
we
to the point you were making.
Yeah, like if we were like to like cut off funding in these like for these things to like focus on funding issues that we have like socialistic policies, and we actually funded things like education and reformed them to be more effective. And we fixed things like homelessness and got people off the fucking streets. We lowered the inequality gap in our country. We focused on that. We would now have a bunch of people that are highly skilled and like well, we can do a lot with them. We can once we do that and people are economically well off, we can start allocating funds to help other people.
Okay,
You know.
so you think that using like after you get rid of like homelessness and poverty
Uh,
and like other like you have a publicized medical system, you have zero homeless people,
hmm.
zero people in poverty, you should start to spread the wealth that you have. Like it will
Absolutely.
be moral to,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, that's what those Nordic countries are doing.
what
Like
I
the bad
just
thing.
described.
No, no, the bad thing. Like they kept all the wealth to themselves and
Oh
they're
well,
not
yeah,
sharing it.
yeah. Well, if they're well off, and yeah, they should spread their wealth. But I'm just arguing that it works. It works for them, right? They're not in financial crisis by any means.
Yeah, of
They
course.
have the means to do that,
But
right?
yeah, but if you have a lot of wealth and you're only using it for yourself, and not just like they're not using it for themselves to make their people happier, they're using it to make their people not homeless. It's not like
That's a great thing.
the wealth is spread evenly in those countries. Like they have a huge wealth, the wealth disequality, inequality. So basically, there are people that are just like normal that can basically live off the previous wealth that they accumulated, and there are like a bunch of very wealthy corporations that can basically do whatever they want abroad, not in the country, but they can do whatever they want abroad, which is basically is okay. We are rich. In our country we don't have poverty, but we also don't have like
Not
people
all.
being really well off,
Not
and
all. Sorry.
and the corporations that we have that like have a very high amount of power don't care about these like our little countries, because our little countries don't really matter, but they have a huge like it's those companies fuck the European Union, between other things, by corrupting politicians. Like they don't care about their home. They don't really like. They go in tax havens since in like there's a place in Europe, uh, Austria. Austria is a tax haven. They go there, and they really don't care about what their country does, because they're not really paying taxes there, and they only paying taxes as far as the, let's say, like if they have workers there, they pay taxes on that, but if they just the majority of their wealth is not being taxed. That's the problem. Like all of their investments, all of their like non not their income, they're taxing the income, they're not taxing their wealth. That's the problem.
So I want to respond to what you said about the income inequality because that's not true. They don't have like extremely high levels of inequality. So Denmark, Finland, Iceland, and Norway, and Sweden, right? Uh, they're measured by what's called the Gini coefficient, right? It's where zero represents perfect equality and one indicates maximum
Okay,
inequality.
the
Hold on.
Lancet. Sweden's economic inequality gap is widening and worrying.
Hold on. Well, let me just tell you what their coefficient is, right? So zero represents perfect, one equals maximum. Denmark, right, is only at 2.49, right? Finland two or point 277, Norway 0.277, and then Sweden at 0.298, right? All these are pretty fucking low.
Uh, can you link me the study?
These are this isn't like hold on. Alright, I'll find you the
Because I have a study right here, and one, it is worrying, and second, it's growing.
here. You link me that study, I'll find you some studies. This wasn't really a study. I don't think so. Well, it's from a study, but it's quoting it. I don't know the specific study it's quoting. Let's see.
Uh,
Let me see.
this is just like based on stats. It's not even a study. If you want, I can find a study.
Yeah, no, I was saying, yeah, go ahead. You find a study, I'll find a study real quick.
Okay. Oh,
Here, here's one of a study for over 140 years. Damn. This is a paper that studies historical studies or
wait.
surveys historical studies.
Denmark is like 100. Like Denmark is 42 on the scale of inequality. The states are not even in the top 100.
But Denmark isn't what?
This is a list. Just you can go on Wikipedia, you can find it, of states with the worst
Put in the side chat.
inequality.
Put it in the side chat.
Uh, it's okay. Okay, it's here. I'm just laughing at Argentina being the sixth.
Here, hold on. I'm trying to read this part.
Maybe I skipped the states.
Okay.
Don't see it. Strange. Like this is a bit of the problem. Italy doesn't like didn't really have any regulations to make sure that rich people didn't get very rich. Yet Italy has a much lower on the scale of wealth inequality.
Hold on. I'm looking at. Oh, well,
Denmark is
if you
40.
want Wikipedia, I can. Yeah. Here, I'll say. Yeah. Here.
Ah, you're still looking at finding your study. Okay, okay.
No, I was getting that those numbers were from Wikipedia. Here, I'll give you the exact number. These are the
Now, the
exact.
study that I gave data before is a study. These numbers are from Wikipedia.
Yeah, give me. Where's the study? I don't see the study.
I didn't give you the study before because I didn't like read the entire study. I just cited data of the study. But
Uh,
okay, can do that.
no, yeah, give me the study. I'll do a quick overview of it. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Uh, yeah, now I have to find it again, but it's like just a research on Google, so it shouldn't be that hard to find it again.
Yeah, so the numbers I was giving you earlier came from Wikipedia as well. That they were only like point 0.2. So like we're kind of getting does what does it say that their Gini
This
coefficient is on this? Oh, right here.
this
All
is
right, yeah.
just
So
yeah, this is just like Lancet thing. It's a like it's a news. but the this article links to studies. Like everything here is
Oh,
linked to a
that
study.
that article right there,
Yeah.
or that link. Okay.
Also, the Lancet is a very respectable news
Where do
outlet.
I don't see the Nordic countries on here. Where are they at? On the Wikipedia, the that you give me with the list of all the countries.
Denmark is at 42. The others are a bit below.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
No, it's the higher you are, the more inequality you have.
Wait, where's you said Denmark's at 42? Hold on, let me see. Denmark. But it's given a different no, it's given a different number for this. It's saying that their Gini coefficient was point eight, but the number that I so which one of these we got to figure out which one of these numbers is accurate here because we're
I
getting
gave you Sweden's economic inequality. This
what,
is
what the
Denmark.
article. Here, let
Yeah,
me look at the
the
article
article
you
is on
sent.
Sweden. No?
All right,
This
Sweden.
one
Hold on.
can
Uh,
find here Sweden.
Here, I'll give you the
Wait, it's
study. I'll give you the study that I had.
wait, it's is it based on? Wait, it's I okay. I was on the okay.
Here's the
Is it
study.
top or list? What what's going on?
Here's the specific study for you. Well, I look
Okay,
into this real quick.
okay,
So wait, the Lancet, so the one that you cited, the article about Sweden,
yeah,
it's from the Lancet Regional Health in Europe, right?
yeah. So
It specifically says in this, it highlights that despite uh the
despite
relatively low income inequality, wealth disparities are increasing, not that they are
yeah,
high. It says that they're low.
they are low.
Yes, it's despite relatively low income inequality. It just says that it's increasing.
Income, income, not wealth. Income.
Okay. Now,
That's the problem.
what do
Do
you
you
mean?
like?
That's exactly what
Do
the
you
Gini
know?
coefficient tracks.
Do you know what what the majority of wealth in those countries is? What are
So,
the private companies that profited of resources?
well, my concern
And
is
those
with the income.
companies now invest all of their, so it's not income, it's not
No,
taxable.
no, just because it's not taxable doesn't mean it's not income.
It's not counted as income. Exactly like Elon Musk investing like shares of Tesla and like all of his shares are not income, it's his wealth. That's the problem. And the fact that they're so wealthy but the income is so low, it points to what I'm saying. The people of the country are not making much respect to what the corporations are making,
But then why?
even though they have socialist policies.
But there's their quality. So, like, my main concern is with quality of life. Would they still? If that was the case, you would expect there to be like a problem with social issues with like suicide and
No,
like mental health.
because they had a very high amount of wealth to begin with, So
They have the
they
highest life
can.
expectancy. So like, is everyone in there? Is that lives in the country wealthy and rich, and that's why?
No, but they are kept housed and fed by those the wealth that they previously had as a country. It's like saying,
That's still better than if they're house fed and their health is also high. They have high life expectancy as well.
yeah,
Their life expectancy is like 82
yeah.
to
The
like
problem is
84
how
versus
they
like
got their
70.
wealth.
They,
If
they
they got their wealth just by normal, like if they are, let's say, wealthy because they are doing something that helps people, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But the reason why they were so wealthy is because they were engaging in capitalism, which means they traded mostly from places, like they abused the fact that they were the only suppliers of something to gain a huge amount of wealth. It's not good, right? We discussed about this. It's not good if you make a huge amount of profit from selling a resource that is needed, and then you don't help other countries. A thing that they could do, if instead of letting the rich people of their country abuse the natural resources and abuse the fact that they abused the
it's
natural resources for a century at least.
what so when you say natural resources, you're just talking about oil there. You're just talking about finite
Oil and
resources.
natural gases there.
Well,
Yeah.
well, what about like hydrothermal vents and like or geothermal vents and or like geothermal capturing and hydro electric, because they also use that. They use
Yeah,
they produce a lot of wind energy.
they mostly sell the energy they not the energy, the oil and the natural resources, and they use for their country green energy. So they don't get the minuses of using oil. They sell it for other countries to be bad. It's like, you
Okay,
know
so then
how
so wait,
the
hold on. So what's the that's not their problem that other countries buy the oil off of them.
would you say the same thing about the drugs, for example?
What drugs?
It's not a problem if they are buying cocaine off of me.
But
It's their choice.
I mean pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
As
so
long as you're not marketing
but
it.
the thing is,
That like
people don't
if
need.
they're being propositioned, if they're being propositioned for the oil and they got it right, there's nothing. I don't see anything morally wrong with them accepting the proposition. But if they were like going out and being like, "Hey, we wanna just get rid of all this oil, throw your offer in," no, that's not right. But like, still at the end of the day, like they're gonna use their resources. Like obviously that's what
Yeah,
every
but
country
the
in the
thing
world
is,
does. Every country in the world uses their natural
yeah,
resources.
but you cannot use a place that is rich of those resources as an example of a place that is like good because of their economic system. It's not. It's because they have those resources.
Okay,
You
and
cannot use
they
that
have
as an
high
example.
they yes I can, because they have high living standards. If they're
And
using
why is that?
if they're all you're saying is that they I can't use it because they have money, right? They have money, so they're able to fund a lot of shit. Yeah, that's true. And they use it to fund a lot of shit that increases quality of life, which is why they have fucking high life expectancy.
Okay. So what about the rest of the world that cannot do that?
then they need to use socialism to help themselves the fuck out. And
They
balance the
cannot do it. They
economy,
don't have
balance the
they don't
capitalism.
have the resources. They don't have the money to
If
do
we
it.
if we look at every other country, right, that their problems with their country is usually goes down to like their economic model being ineffective or just not the right model.
Yeah, but why are you citing a country like that's the thing? I could cite Saudi Arabia as a good example of capitalism by your standard. Like if Saudi Arabia use their wealth, a
No,
fraction, a
because
little fraction of
they
their
have a
wealth.
bunch of social problems. They have a bunch of social problems. They're a
Yeah,
monarchy.
but
They're authoritarian. They got a bunch of
okay,
fucking
okay.
problems.
Please, let me finish. The thing is, they are not gaining their wealth out of nothing. They are gaining out their wealth based on the fact that they are selling something that other nations need.
But they're not a
And they're selling
democracy.
it at a high price because they need it.
Okay, but they're
Like
not
it's
a
not cocaine, they need it
okay,
to
but it,
function.
still, but it's not the Saudi Arabia is not a democracy. Like,
Yeah, I prefer Denmark and Sweden at Saudi Arabia.
right,
Yes,
but
I prefer that.
that's why you couldn't use it as a good example for capitalism because capitalism it's not protected. Like socialism is what protects is what protects the people from capitalism. The or socialism and democracy, social democracy. Say that.
Okay, in Germany right now, who like is those like the thing is the most problematic thing about this is in all of those countries, all of them, not one, are going down on those things. They're not moving forward, they're moving backwards. The reason is because they are living in a capitalist system, not in a socialist one, which means people in power will find a way to get money towards the government. They'll find a way. You can make thousands and thousands of regulation. If you have a system
You're just
in
making
which,
assertions here. Like, what am I supposed? How am I supposed? Like, how am I supposed to debate that? That they're just gonna find a way. Well, what if I argued that my system will just find a way, that democracy will just find a way, and we'll
how?
just. Well, all right, then I'll ask you how.
No, I am saying something that is 100% truth, which every capitalist system is corrupt. Every capitalist system has this problem. You need to
Because
find a way how
they're
to
not
deal with it.
ideal. They're not. Yeah. Okay. I can explain how. So the like
No.
if we remove money from politics, let's just say we get over the hurdle, right?
How?
Okay. Well, the way you do that is in the United States, at least the first step, no more fucking lobbying. Second of all, well, the leaders that we elect, we are not the funding with fucking super PACs should not be fucking legal. Like we with the way
Okay.
it's the way that we elect our politicians that it allows money to be involved
Okay.
in politics.
The fact that it's legal or not is doesn't matter until we have a judgment. This kind of system, people with money will find a way to corrupt, no matter what. In Italy, it's
But
illegal
we're
to
talking about my system. I thought.
yeah. Explain me how making it illegal makes it not happen.
Well, it goes further than just making it illegal. It's about removing the ability for that to. It's not just making it illegal, but we would change the process on how it works, right? So instead of funding by super PACs, you would be funded by the government. Everyone would be funded by like if you wanted to do your campaign, right?
Mhm.
You don't put up your own no putting up private capital. You don't do that. You get your fair chance just like everyone else. That's it. And then
Okay,
whoever who,
everyone gets. Okay, how do you know that what they're using is money that is given to them by the state? How do you know that?
How do I know? Wait, explain that again.
Let's say that the person that is running a campaign has business, a
Okay.
business,
Mm-hmm.
normal,
Yeah.
which is which shares are mostly owned by, let's say, a very large corporation.
Okay.
Would you make it illegal for them to use that money on the campaign?
Yeah. You're not allowed to market with private capital. No, no money involved in marketing your campaign. It's funded by the government and and hosted by the
Okay,
government.
so the government funds and okay, would you have a tax on like shares, like not income, but proper- literally you're taxing the wealth of people? Would you do that?
Over a certain amount, yes. So, and it would, but it would be so basically, the way it would work would be like if you can amass wealth, right? And
Mhm.
where the cap, it would be have a cap around like so. I would definitely have an inheritance cap at like around 1 billion. Nobody's passing over fucking $1 billion to their fucking children and creating generational wealth.
Mhm.
Fuck that. Uh, but it would go further than that because if you wanted to hold, like if you let's say you were alive and you were able to amass over $1 billion, you could have that, right? You could hold that and you could use it, but you have to use it to basically like you're gonna use it to like further the innovation basically of your company to like grow more basically so that you
Okay.
can amass more
So
wealth and basically to basically eventually use that to fund like shit like charities and shit to
okay,
give it away.
so basically what you're saying is those politicians cannot use those politicians and those corporations cannot use their money to, let's say, publicize a certain political opinion. That's what you want, right?
Yes, they can't use their money to like like you know how like in the US like uh like the president's campaign like they spend like millions of dollars on their ad campaigns for
Yeah,
like to get
basically
on.
that happens all in all democracy that have
Yeah,
capitalism.
yeah,
That's
basically.
happens.
Yeah, basically. So like instead of that, like you can't use your money to like pay for ads. Like you're not like it would be funded by the government. And you wouldn't even like the ads wouldn't even
Yeah, but
be
the
in a
problem is
private system. So like if there
how
was
would
like
you how would you enforce that? Like that's the problem.
well
A
if there's like
company,
because so basically the way it would work is it would be hosted by the government through an official channel. Like any type of uh campaign would be hosted.
yeah, but
It wouldn't so like it
the
wouldn't
amount,
be
like,
like if you
please
were
let me finish it. Yeah.
okay.
Corporations can just in their ads, in their merchandise, can, for example, what about a company that sells toys for children, no?
Hmm.
And they're they're basically homophobic and transphobic. All their merchandise is only straight couples with children of no special orientation, nothing. And that's all the companies that sell toys. Basically, all the companies that sell toys have these things. So every time you buy a toy, you always see a straight family with one or two children. They're married. They're Christian, and they live happily. That's all you see. Would that matter if you have a government funded campaign? If when you go outside in the real world, the only thing you see is what the corporation wants you to see.
So here's the thing. No, it wouldn't matter if the real world that you speak of was educated, okay? And that's what we're going to use the socialism for, or social democracy for. You use that to educate the people, and like all the Nordic countries, they fund their education. Like their education is highly funded. Now, education isn't really effective, but it's a whole other debate that I don't want to get into right now to subtract from this. But if, let's say, the world was educated, they would be able to make a well-informed decision that wasn't really inherently biased by what they see from corporations. Like people would be aware of like corporate interest. Like I am. Like like if I see per se McDonald's come out and there or like even like Chick-fil-A, like you hear about like certain companies and what their stances are. Like I hear about that Chick-fil-A is actually very transphobic. The
Yeah.
CEO is or whatnot, and that uh
Okay. Do you know that right now in America, basically most like the trend that was, let's say, trans and homo inclusive is going backwards.
is going back, more inclusive
Yeah.
for trans.
No,
No.
less inclusive.
Oh, less
Yeah, less
inclusive.
inclusive.
Yes, less inclusive. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
yeah.
the thing is, you cannot form a system out of nothing. That's another problem. Like if the requirement for your system it's you have to have educated people.
No, this is a
Like
process. It's
what do you
not
do
it.
until you have educated people?
So this is a process, right? So slowly, so the first step would be if we could like reform how campaigns are done, right? That would be the first step. But then like I'm pretty sure that like if we the reason that I think that if we switched over to this, it would restore a lot of the faith that people don't have in democracy, is that they don't have a fair chance, and that's a reason that a lot of people don't really look into it. A lot
Okay,
of people don't even vote.
what if the companies were pushing the idea that the government is inefficient, even though it is? What happens now?
Then, well, that's a situation that's tough because that's the situation that we find ourselves in today. But that I feel like that's fueled by a lot of real distrust in the government, right? And
Yeah, so
if you could fix that with a lot more, so like slowly you could build transparency, build trust, and then move towards this type of model. And then once you
yeah,
did,
who is stopping you from doing that? Who is the biggest adversary for you to do this?
oh, obviously the capitalists, they would hate me to do this.
Okay, why can't we just be socialist and that's it? It
Because there's a
seems
bunch of
like
greedy people in this fucking world. That's why.
that's a problem for capitalism, not for socialism.
Oh, well, you said why can't we be capitalists or socialists? I mean, because there's a bunch of greedy
You think
capitalists.
just have a revolution. You don't need them. You don't need the capitalist support to do socialism
Well, what you're talking about is communism.
or communism. Yeah, you
Really,
can also do communism.
but you can also you can basically it's like you gotta trick them, you know. You gotta be 10 steps ahead. So it's like you can do socialism legally without a revolution, right? But you gotta do it
Why
in the right
hasn't
way
this happened yet? Then
because nobody's come up with an idea a working idea that they can articulate that is actually like nobody's doing what I'm doing right now. Nobody's coming up with like a working model that they can explain this is how it works and actually putting in the effort to enact that sort of change. And I don't think anyone's thought about it like this, to be honest with you.
So basically, you're saying that people don't have the time under capitalism to think about a better system, so they just roll with what they have. Huh.
No, I think that there's people that do try to make a better system, but either they're usually like ineffective uh at like incorporating their system because there's a bunch of competing ideas. So like the only thing that needs to happen in order for my specific system to work is for awareness of it to spread enough. If everyone was
Who is
aware,
stopping you from doing the awareness and the spreading?
the capital they're trying to stop, but that doesn't mean that they 100% can't. Just because they want to and they actively will try to doesn't mean that they're
Then
going to be successful.
they are. That's the thing. That what what you're doing has happened over and over. It's happened in Italy. It's happened in all around Europe. It's happened in America, for God's sake.
No, no.
Yeah, the
Yes,
movement of
yes, but those were different movements and they failed for their own specific reason. Like
why
communism.
were those movements bad?
So, you want to talk about communism? We could talk about that.
No, no. In the 20s and the 30s, America was probably one of the most socialist, like one of the most socialist, one of the countries, like of the rich countries that had a major socialist party in the 20s and the 30s.
Hmm.
What happened to that? Didn't
So,
they have a good opinion, better opinion than the rest of them?
of course they
But
did,
did they fail?
but they didn't have the means to. They didn't have the system wasn't set up for them to win. It was set up for fucking the capitalists to win. Because as soon as bro, look at. So you say was lobbying legal at that time? I ask you that. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't. No, I'm pretty sure that was a little bit later than that, wasn't it? When
yeah,
did
but it was still happening. It doesn't matter if it's legal or not.
Right,
It still
but
happens.
no, it does matter if it's legal or not because as soon as they made it legal, that's how like super PACs were invented, and then you had like these huge corporations. Like it was a lot more.
There were a huge corporation before.
Oh, I know, but it was a lot less. Wasn't as widespread.
It was definitely okay. It wasn't as widespread because there was much less introduction in day-to-day life. Like now, we have a much higher amount of things that instead of like normal people and small business, it's produced by like very big corporations. That's just the natural competition sorting things out.
So, well, like I'm trying to understand your point here.
The thing is, there were people with good idea, at least better than the rest. Still, what you were thinking, socialist, not communist, socialist, that had better opinion than their opponent, opinion that that were like better for the majority of the people, yet they lost, and they lost again and again and again and
Because they
again.
didn't have the resources.
Okay, then what do we do?
You get the
How do we
fucking
gain the
resources. You
resources?
get the resources, which is what I'm doing.
How
And when you get the fucking work on yourself. Get some fucking money in your pocket. That's what I'm doing. Trying to, at least.
didn't they have money to? Like
Not
those
enough,
people were
obviously.
working.
Not enough, obviously.
Okay, so you're going to
You think? Do you
win
think? Hold
against the
on. Do you think?
capitalists by having more money than them.
Yep. Well, that and also having more
Okay,
people in
you're
support.
this thing is never gonna work then.
I
You're
mean,
never gonna have more money than them. They're willing to do literally everything to gain money.
well, I mean, so would I, wouldn't I? Why would I want
Okay,
to? Why
so
would I?
how are you
I
better
would.
than them?
I mean, give me liberty or give me fucking death. Like fuck living under a
Why don't you
dystopia.
just why don't you just do a revolution instead?
Well, it's more of like a quiet revolution. It's a long term
That
revolution, right? So let's say
that
I
never
become
exists.
let's say I become the new Elon Musk. Let's say I amass as much wealth as him. All the shit that he's doing
Okay.
with government, with like all the influence that he's had, like if I had his level of money, you don't think that I would like be able to do what he
Okay.
did?
Firstly, are you a descendant of a very bad man that was a bad man because he made a lot of money exploiting people by by having a by owning a I think it was a mineral company. They extracted emerald in an apartheid state. Are
You talking
you
about his
in the
parents?
same position?
You talking about his parents?
Hmm?
You talking about his parents?
Yeah, is that
Uh huh.
he
Well,
had like
that was him, right? So like what he did with like Tesla. So like I used to be, I'm no longer an Elon fan because of what he's been doing politically. But I used to
Mhm.
be a fan of what he was doing with SpaceX, Tesla, right? I was a big fan of that
Why?
because he was doing a lot of environmentally friendly shit, right? So
Yeah, but they weren't his ideas. It was just he made them
I
like
agree.
likable to the.
I agree, which is why I don't like him. But he was bringing that to like two people's attention, and he was using his money to like fund that shit. So like I was with it.
Oh, one only really Tesla's doing it. Like it's funny because he's doing SpaceX, which is a company that is not very environmental friendly, with a company that should at least be environmental friendly.
Well,
The
not
thing is,
SpaceX, but well, SpaceX. I was excited about the space exploration part, but I was excited about the so Tesla. They did like it was more than just the cars. They also where he was talking about doing something with solar panels where they were gonna like make these tiles that were actually like solar panels and they looked pretty good. And also
okay,
he
that's
had
the problem with the, let's say, capitalist. They don't innovate, they sell. That's what they do. They make a bunch of claims, they sound very good when they're making them, but they won't do that. It's just to get people to invest in them.
well, I mean,
And if they
it,
do something, it's not because they did it, it's because the people that they paid to do the job did it.
yeah,
And they are the
absolutely,
only one that get money out of it.
yeah,
They don't, even though they are the
that's
ones
true.
that should get credit for it.
No, I don't give Elon credit for so the only thing I give him credit for was doing those things instead of doing something else that could have been a lot more fucking worse. Like instead of being like an oil tycoon or fucking the CEO of like
Okay.
Nestle or some shit like that. Like I was more so excited about like the ventures of you
Okay,
know
now that the basically only capitalist that was supposed to be good is turned bad.
no, he's not the only one. Like I could give you some other. I mean, I could give you some other examples, but like I'm not here to argue that capitalists are like strict capitalists are like the best guys in the world at all.
The thing is, it's not that they are bad because they're bad people, it's bad because of what they do. And if you want to win against them, You'll have to do you have to do worse than them to
But
win.
yeah, but not necessarily
How?
because
How are you gonna win against those corporations if not by undercutting wages or other things? How are you gonna do that? Or doing the same thing that they're doing, for example. Maybe you discover the best thing in the world and you privatize it. Okay, good job. You're just like them if you do that.
okay, let's say I discover uh some advanced stock market technique that gets me like as much money as I need, right? And then I
No,
use that,
that just
huh?
no. Wait a second.
What?
This is completely based on luck.
No, no,
There's no technique.
I know. I'm just letting you know.
So
I'm just giving you. I
basically
mean,
the no. If you say that, it's like okay, we as a species, the best we can do is hope for the dice to
and
roll
that's actually
heads instead of
that's actually not true. You can use an algorithm to work the market.
yeah. There are algorithms to make good investment,
You
not to
ever?
become Elon Musk.
I don't know about that. You ever heard of the Medallion Fund?
No.
You should look it up. You should look it
Yeah.
up because it's
Again,
exactly what I'm talking about.
the
It's
stock
literally
market is completely speculation. And speculation, the only reliable things about it
it's
is that
not
it's gonna
speculation.
crash at
I
some
said look
point.
up the Medallion Fund. I'm telling you, look up the Medallion Fund. They've
You think
consistent.
that stock market is not based on speculation?
What do you mean by speculation?
Speculation is basically you don't basically it's investments. And the investments and how much your stocks are valued is not valued to real things. Like you're like if you own a stock of Tesla, its value is not based on
Okay, but
how
let me.
well the company is
Yes,
doing,
I
it's
know
how
that.
well it's perceived to do
I
it.
I I,
That's
I
speculation.
Yes, I get that, but that doesn't matter at all. If
So
we're
now,
talking, no, hold on, let me finish.
let's say,
Hold on, let me finish here. That doesn't matter at all though, because what we're talking about is trading, right? So I'm trading stocks, I'm buying the stock and then I'm selling it to then get capital,
yeah,
which is what the Medallion Fund does. Okay.
yeah, and so basically what you're gonna do is that you're gonna buy a stock, hold onto it, and then sell it at a higher price. That's what you're gonna do. That's how you make money trading in stocks.
Not me, like an algorithm, but sure, but
Yeah.
they get a lot more complicated than that. But
So yeah, it's more complicated than that, but this is the basic. This is the necessity. This is the rule.
it's about buying it at
Which
the right
means,
time.
yeah, which means even though you could make some, let's say, profit, it's based on your initial capital. It's based on that. You can make,
Hold on. What initial capital? What are you talking about? Hold on. What do you mean?
okay, all the companies in the world, all the rich people in the world right now are doing no. Actually, right now, rich people are not trading their stock. Like they are cashing in their stocks. There's a big trend of investors just cashing in because they know that there's gonna be a recession now. So, okay, this is not the right time to trade stocks. This is definitely like
Are
every
you
expert
giving me like
says it's
market
not the wrong
advice right
time.
now?
Yeah, it's like, do you know
So
the
so
like
so
best?
hold on. So you don't. So you seem to like misunderstand how trading works because you don't have to buy a stock to make money from it. You ever heard of short selling?
Uh, no, how does it work?
So basically, this is how it works. Let's say we'll talk I'll give you an example on pencils because it makes a lot more sense when I explain it this way. So imagine you have a pencil, right? And
Yeah.
I ask you to borrow that pencil real quick. I'm like, yo, let me borrow that pencil. All right.
Mm.
And then you say, all right, you give me the pencil, and I go and I sell that pencil for well, let's say I borrow that pencil for $1, right? And then
Okay. Can
and
I
then
stop you right now and say why it's not working? It will not work.
it's no, this is how people make money. I'm just trying to give you an example, and I'm not doing a good job
Yeah.
explaining it.
What's the uh, question? How did the economy crash in 1929?
So you're talking about like economies collapsing. That's talking about people who have stocks and held them while the value dropped.
No, no,
When
no.
I'm
Actually, you were talking about borrowing, which is exactly the reason why the stock market crashed in 1929. That's the reason why the market crashed.
borrowing,
People were speculating on borrowing instead of stocks. They were borrowing houses.
it does
That's what
no
they were
no,
doing.
but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about
Yeah, I know
borrowing a
that you're
house.
not talking about that, but the same thing applies to that.
Okay, but
People
this is totally
speculate on
different.
something which is not based on reality, and when people realize it's all speculation, it crashes. That's how the stock market works every time. If if you make money without a actual benefit to yourself or to someone else, it means it's speculation. It means you gain money by promising something. Once they find out you really don't have what they want,
All
it's
right,
gonna crash.
now let me just give you the example again, okay? Because I have it written down here because it's
Mm.
so you
Okay, okay, sure.
borrow a valuable pencil, or it's gonna be a valuable pencil this time. It's worth ten
Hmm.
dollars, right? But you don't
Okay.
own the pencil, right? You just tell them, I'm gonna borrow this and I'll give it back to you later, right?
Mm.
And then you sell the pencil to someone else for $10, right? While the price
Hmm.
drops, right, to $5, a new cheaper pencil, you buy that, right? Then when you buy the pencil back, you now have you buy the new pencil for 5, and then you give the pencil back to your friend for $10 and keep the
Okay,
difference.
you're making money based on speculation,
No, you're well,
but the
but you're
effect is the effect is the opposite of what I'm saying. Actually,
so
you're
yes,
using
but
the
the way I'm
you're
telling
using the opposite equation of what I'm saying, but the result is the same.
no, it's
You're
not. No, it's not because if a stock price goes down, what you're talking about is a stock price going down. They crash, right? So if a stock price were to crash, if
you're
I was
abusing the crash.
right,
You're abusing the crash.
why am I
You're
using the crash?
because you're making something. You're like artificially bringing a price of something down to gain something from it. That's what you're
No,
doing,
no,
right?
I'm not talking about artificially bringing the price down. I'm saying, because you said that crashes are always that a crash is always bad. I'm saying you can make money off of a stock going down. That's the only point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah, and a very limited amount of people during an economic crash will make a fuck ton of money. Yeah, that's how it works.
Bro, you're not I'm just trying to tell you that like even if a stock goes up or down, it doesn't matter when you're trading, right? Because you're trading at a like
Yeah,
let's say I'm
when you're
trading one
trading, no, no, please. When you're trading something that is not yours, and you're making the value of that thing go up or down depending on what you want,
Yes, there's a
maybe
risk
you will
involved.
gain something, and maybe you're thinking that it came from nothing. But let's try to make this example a bit real right now. Let's say that what you just lowered instead of pencil is milk. You lowered a lot the price of milk. Okay, now the people making milk are no longer making money.
We're
They
not talking about lower. You're talking about artificially lowering the price. I'm talking about during the time that you hold that shit, it just drops. The price just drops. So we're not talking about influencing the market
okay,
at all.
so what if it goes up?
Then that's why there's a risk always associated with trading. But that's accounted for
Okay,
while you trade.
then it's luck.
It's not no, it's not luck. It's strategy.
What is your strategy based on?
You would it's based on a bunch of different shit. It's based on a bunch of
It's based no. I can
numbers.
say I can tell you what those things are. Those
Okay,
things are based on vibes. It's based
vibes.
on what? Yeah, the economy right now is based on vibes. What is more vibe? Literally, that's how Elon Musk is the richest man alive right now, even though he did everything he could to not be the richest man.
Okay, but what I'm referring to is exploiting those vibes. Okay, using a computer algorithm to exploit those vibes. That's exactly what the Medallion Fund does.
Okay,
You track all of those vibes, right? And
why are the richest people in the world not doing that?
they are look at look up, please
Then
look up
you're not gonna win.
look. We're gonna can I search
No,
for
no.
shit on
If
here?
if you make the same, if by percentage you make the same amount as Elon Musk, you're never gonna be richer than Elon Musk. By definition, if they make the same amount of profit by percentage than you, the one that has the most amount of money at the start wins. That's just how it works.
Here.
Then how are we doing the revolution?
So you don't think that like for 39 billion might be enough for me?
No, if Elon Musk has more.
Oh, so I have to have more than what Elon Musk has to do
Yeah,
anything. That
yeah.
no, that's not true.
You have to have more than you just said to me that that's how it worked in your system. You told me that you had to win
No,
an
no,
economic
yeah,
battle.
I mean that's I mean you have to get up to a certain level, but you don't have to have necessarily like exactly
You have
more money
you
down
have
by the
to
dollar. It's not no because here, listen. The what Elon Musk holds, it's not liquid. He's not holding all that in cash. It's in stock, right? So
yeah.
if I am to accrue this 39, let's say 39 billion, right, and I liquidate it and immediately use it before Elon Musk, right, to enact the things that I want to do, right, and get a start on a head start on him, he's not going to be able to catch up. Not going to catch up.
No, because what Elon Musk has is not only power by having money, it's power based on his perceived wealth. He, imagine this, all the companies that produce oil and that can import oil in the US decides that they are not going to do that. If the US doesn't do something for them, what happens?
If the U.S. doesn't do something for the oil companies,
Yeah, they're not gonna trade with the US.
Yeah, most likely. Okay.
What is gonna happen? Is the US gonna say no? We can do without?
I mean, realistically, they're probably not going to because they're controlled by the capitalists. But if we're controlled by a
Let's say
democracy,
America does what you're doing. They
that
becomes
in
uh,
in my
you win.
situation,
You
they would
win.
just say fuck.
America,
Yeah, they would say we'll figure it out. We're gonna move on to another different type of resource.
you're gonna
So we can move on
you're gonna
to.
starve.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not starving. It's the fact that like I don't even think that we should be using oil as a like that's just a stupid.
There's a
Uh,
difference between wanting to not use oil and have your and have your all basically amount of electricity be shut down. Like America doesn't work without oil. That's
Okay,
just how it is.
well then we would just fucking bro. Then we would yeah
What happens?
we would accept short term and then we would heavily focus. Well, what is it
Okay,
exactly would their demands be? That would
they
be the
demanded that your government gets out,
gets out
and they
of
choose
what of
their government.
the Middle East.
No, of America. They they are demanding that
Oh yeah,
the
no,
guy that
fuck
they
them.
want is
Yeah,
president.
yeah, no, fuck them.
Okay, America doesn't matter anymore because
We'll
it
get we'll
implodes.
get we'll figure it out. We'll figure that shit the
Okay, so
fuck out.
basically you're saying that the old, like, think about it. Wouldn't it just work much better if you just could extract their wealth? Wouldn't it just be marvelous if you could just take their private
That's the
property?
point of socialism to do it legally.
It is done legally. Any government right now can legally take your shit.
Exactly. That's my point. If I'm in a position of power, can't nobody fuck with me. Not, and no matter how rich you are. I'm the U.S.
So
government.
you're a communist?
Well, no, no, no. I'm saying if I was the U.S. government, I'm not a communist.
Okay, what you're describing to me is you want to have power over the corporations. The only way you
We
do
already
that,
have power. We have taxation power.
yeah, but who is the government funded by? Who is paying the people that are running the government right now?
Huh? Say that again.
The corporations.
It's
The
also
people that are running
it's
America are paid by the corporations.
the politicians.
Yeah, and the things that they do is what the corporation tells them to do.
Okay, that's not. We're talking about something completely different.
Yeah, let's say you do your thing in 5 years, you're the richest man in America, you cash all your things and you use it on a campaign, you become president.
Right?
Okay, now all the corporations want to get out, want to take everything out, all of their wealth, go into another country.
Oh,
Do you allow them?
you're talking about capital flight.
Hmm?
You're talking about capital flight.
See, yes, yes.
So
What do you do?
I don't do anything because they're not going to leave.
Why wouldn't they leave?
Because it's a lot. They can't just up and leave.
Yeah, they can.
Sure they can, but they're not going to because their
Why?
business relies, their income relies on having their business based in the U.S.
They can just sell and go
No,
out.
no, it's not that easy
Why not?
because a lot of because their market is some usually fucking for the U.S. Like take Amazon for example, right?
Okay,
They're,
think about it. You
no, no,
just
no,
said to
no.
me, you just said
Listen, listen,
no, you
listen.
said
No,
to
no, no,
me in
no. Hold on, hold
in
on.
this
I need to elaborate. I need to elaborate. Take Amazon for example, right? If
yeah,
Jeff Bezos wants to just fucking go to Africa, okay, it's not gonna be fucking. He can't just be like, all right, I'm in Africa now. He's got warehouses vans, everything is set up to
wealth
for
based on that.
everything in the business is set up to function in the U.S. It would cost billions of fucking trillions of dollars to move that to another country, and have it
Uh,
on the same fucking
actually,
scale.
actually, he can just sell his shares of the company, can't he?
Sure, and he could do that right now too. But why doesn't he?
Okay,
Why doesn't he though? Because he
because
wants
America is
more
one of
money.
the
He wants
no,
more
no, no.
money.
Right now, the money that he has is probably in some tax havens somewhere stored. The other type of money that he has is stocks, and he can sell them whenever he wants. So let's say you go into power. Okay, now he sells everything and he just moves to another place.
He can already do that
He
right
lost
now.
basically nothing.
If what you sell, you get taxed. That's how the government gets their money. You can't sell a stock without getting
No, no,
taxed.
no. They sell them before you do this.
Before you do what?
Before you go into power, they're gonna sell, move away. You're never seeing that wealth ever again.
Whoa, whoa! You told me I was president, and then they did this. You didn't say that they were doing this before, and that it's not of my control. Oh, well,
You could just not allow them to do it.
how am I supposed to not allow them to do that with no power?
You are the president
No,
of the
no,
United
you said
States.
you said that they leave before I get into power.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
You
then
can,
you're telling me it's just impossible? So no matter what, if I become president, everyone just leaves?
if you want to tax them based on their wealth, rich people are gonna run. The only thing you can do is a global socialist revolution. That's what you do.
That's not true. That's not true.
How do you how do you not let them?
Then why? Then
You said
why?
it yourself. If
So
they want to run, they can run.
then why don't they run in all these other countries that are very socialistic?
Because
They have high
why
taxes in the Nordic
why would they
countries.
run into a socialist country?
No, no, it's the same. So this is the same reason that they don't run in the Nordic countries. Like you said, they have plenty of natural resources that they exploit to get income, right? So that's
Yeah,
the same thing that the capitalists are going to want to do in the United States. They're going to want to exploit the market that's over here. They're not going anywhere. Even if the taxes are high, they're going to pay it just like they do in the Nordic countries. You don't see them running.
because they are not taxed on wealth.
Well,
They are
yes,
taxed on income.
I mean, look some shit up.
The majority of people in Europe have their money stored in a tax haven or in stocks that are not right now taxed. That's that's how rich people exploit the rest of us.
No, they tax wealth,
They tax based on what?
huh?
What are they taxing? The
Uh,
income or the wealth?
so Norway imposes a net wealth tax on individuals as of 2023. The tax applies to net worldwide
Oh,
wealth.
2023.
Yeah, it's new. It's new, and it's working.
Yeah, and
Hold on. Well,
in
let me hold on. Let me finish. I didn't finish. The tax applies to the net worldwide wealth exceeding uh 1.7 million, approximately 170,000. It's in their currency, NOK, which is $170,000 in U.S. currency, with rates
Mhm.
up to 1.1%. This includes both municipal and national components.
Okay, so basically they tax everything that is in their country. The thing is, the people that are the most rich in those countries, don't store their wealth in those countries. It's not where they keep their wealth. They invest in something else.
Wait. If
They are
that's not
never gonna cash
if their
in.
wealth isn't if their wealth isn't there, so they're rich or they're not. Like, what's going on? Then where are these people get? Where does Norway get all of its tax funds then to fund all these socialistic policies? I thought they're rich.
Yeah, because thanks to those socialist policies, the people are able, like, if you look at people there, they are mostly highly educated,
Uh
they
huh.
can make their money. They don't need the money from people very, very rich to do those things. Because, like in Italy and the US, if we wanted to have those things, we could. The thing is, like, yeah, the people that are the richest, if we could get their wealth, it would be just fucking much better. Like, if you could house everyone with your current budget, with the wealth of those people, you could do everything. If a state administered their wealth, we would be on the right track. Yet we don't.
Uh, Dude, I disagree with you. You're definitely a
Why?
communist, right?
Yeah. So why is it bad?
Well, oh, all right,
You
yeah. So
basically your plan never works.
neither does yours. What the fuck are you talking about? Communism don't
My plan
work.
has never been done.
Are
Yours
are
is
you in an
impossible.
are you an anarcho communist? What type of communist are you?
I'm a Marxist, not Leninist, Marxist.
You're just a classical Marxist.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marx believes in the transfer of power from the capitalist to the fucking state,
No.
right?
What Marx says is the dictatorship, and dictatorship doesn't mean what Stalin did. Dictatorship of the proletariat means. Do you know how uh, uh, what the term dictatorship of the bourgeoisie means
The
in
bourgeoisie.
Marx? Yeah, the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie,
The bourgeoisie. What is that? The working man or whatever.
the capital class.
The capital class. Yeah. So what? I thought
Marx uses the
he believes in the dictatorship of the proletariat.
yeah, but he used dictatorship to mean both democracies. Like he says dictatorship of the bourgeoisie to mean a system that is monopolized by the bourgeoisie class. Doesn't mean that it's an actual dictatorship. It just means that a system in which the
I know
bourgeoisie are
that's
in command, in control.
yeah. That's not my problem with Marxism.
Yeah,
My,
Marx was a Democrat. Like he believed in democracy more than most people.
right, but my problem with it is that it puts the power from you can't completely take away the power from the capitalists because then you're taking away you will eventually like it will lead to authoritarianism. It always
Why?
does. It always
Why?
does because then you end up with because I when you look around the world, even if they're Marxist Leninists, at the end of the day, that should they still it's we can still look at these other communist countries and see that they've effectively been able to take away the power from the capitalists and give it to the government. And when
Wait,
that happened, what?
they are capitalist. Most
Yes, but they
of the
yeah, but they have complete control over their fucking
okay.
capitalists.
Let's talk about Stalin then, because right now, like, no big communist country exists. Maybe
Uh,
Cuba. That's
uh,
the only one.
what are you, a Stalinist?
No, but
Why do
you
you
were
want to talk
talking
about
about
Stalin?
Stalinism.
No, I'm talking
You were
specific.
talking about
I'm talking about what China does, what Russia
they are
does.
capitalists.
No, they're fucking Marxist Leninist.
They are not Marxist and they're not Leninist in any way.
They're definitely Marxist Leninists.
They are not a democracy.
They're
They are
not.
not
I'm
Marxist.
not saying they're a democracy. I don't believe
Then
that. I don't think that Marxist Leninism is in favor of democracy at all.
okay, what is your definition of Marxist Leninist?
I don't want to get semantical here, dude.
You
I'm
are
just
getting semantical. You're saying that those countries are not capitalists for the love of God.
they are. They have elements of capitalism, but I'm talking about like if you look at China, they allow capitalism, but the government still has control over all the fucking corporations. They have the final say in what any fucking corporation does. You can't do
Would you
anything.
say
You
that?
can't do a single thing in China without the government's
Wouldn't you
approval.
say? Wouldn't you say that Xi Jinping is the CEO of China?
Uh, I mean, it's a cool little analogy, I guess.
It is what it is. He is the owner of China. Yeah,
Pretty much dictator, the fucking leader. Well, not leader. I wouldn't
yeah,
call him a leader.
uh, yeah. He is there because he took power and he says, now it's mine. Isn't that a capitalist thing? Isn't that what capitalists do?
Why are you
Like,
what is that like your little jab at me like you like I'm not strictly a capitalist.
the
I
thing
acknowledge
is,
that capitalism has problems. I'm not here to argue that capitalism is
yeah,
perfect by any means.
okay. The thing is, capitalist is just people being able to own private property. That's it. A system in which the majority of things are run by private property, by the ability of buying private property. That's capitalism. And socialism is the opposite of that.
Right.
You cannot have both.
That's why you need to balance the fucking two when you use democracy to do that.
No, you cannot have that. Do you want
Yes.
to have 50-50? Something like that? Like, do you want to
Yes,
have,
that's perfect.
you
That
want a
would be that would
50-50?
50. You saying like 50% capitalism, 50% fucking socialism? Sure. Like,
Okay, but that doesn't work. It's simple why it doesn't work.
I mean,
Because
we don't. That's not. We're not even talking about specifics there. Like, well, that could mean anything.
I'm trying to explain why it doesn't work. If
But
you interrupt me before, it's fine, but I
it's
was going to argue.
well, I just don't. I don't see like the that was just like that wasn't even meant to be like a specific like argument by any means. Like, I don't understand where like democracy is how you use socialism. Like it's not like
Democracy is not
you
socialism.
can't really fucking I know it's not socialism. You can't quantify how much fucking like socialism
You're
and
right.
fucking
You
capitalism.
cannot. You're right. A system based on private property. And socialism is not that. It's based on the worker owning the means of production.
Oh, here we go with this means of production bullshit.
Yeah. Why is it
Typical
bullshit?
Marxist language. Because
It's a simple term
it goes way farther than the means of production, dude. Like like
because
like worker strikes happen all the time. Like I don't understand like why the means of production like you think like means of production is gonna somehow fucking topple the government. Like people go on strikes all the time and then the fucking government
what
forces them
would
to
you
get back to
say?
work or they just allow
What
the
would you
employer to
say
fire
if
them and replace them.
what would you say would happen if 20% of the people in the world stop working? What would happen?
Then the fucking rest of the people that are unemployed would fucking have a job for them.
No, no. Most of the people that that stop working, some of them a job that people just cannot do right now. What happens to the economy if 20% of its workforce just suddenly disappears? What happens?
Where do you think you're getting 20%? How, all right, so let's work out the numbers here, okay? Let's see what 20% of the global population is, okay? So
Mhm.
what's let's look it up.
It's about 1.5 billion of people.
1.5 billion people.
Yeah,
No, actually, hold on.
it's
Yeah, it's
actually
one.
more
Yeah, it's
because now it's eight.
1.62. Okay,
Yeah,
so where the fuck do you think that you're gonna coordinate a billion and a half people to suddenly walk out of work? I like we're talking about more people that
you
are
know what?
living in the United States right now.
I think, like, think about it. Is it more probable to coordinate 20% of humans on Earth to stop working for a month, or for somebody or for a group of people to get as wealthy as Elon Musk
Okay,
without
like, yeah, I think that mine is more realistic, and I'll tell you why. Because just like you were saying, who's gonna stop me from doing this? Who's gonna stop me from who do you think is gonna try to stop you from convincing 20%, 1.6 billion people that they should quit work on fucking Friday?
the capitalist, of course.
Okay, exactly. So who do you think is
Yeah, but
gonna? So how are you? Let me
your
ask you this: how are
your
you gonna spread that
system
message? How are you gonna
your
spread that
system
message?
in any way that I can.
Okay, and who do you think is gonna try to stop you?
The capitalists.
Okay, so we're at the same problem. We both have the same problem.
No, because even if you succeed, the capitalists can just ignore you.
Okay, so they can just ignore you too.
No, they cannot. They cannot avoid 20% of people stop working. They cannot.
Oh gosh,
No,
uh,
they cannot avoid that. Economy crashes, their stocks is now completely worthless.
completely worthless.
Yeah,
So you don't think if where I worked at 20% of the people left, right? You think that we wouldn't be able to fucking pick up the slack for the rest?
worldwide, yes. Not in your company, but worldwide, of course.
I mean, sure,
That would cause recession at a
there's
level that
gonna
is
be
absurd.
yeah, it's gonna yeah, and who do all the people that are gonna go on strike are also going to like feel the effects of that.
Okay, tell me. The economy crashes. Now,
So
what
wait,
happens?
hold on. The capitalists can act. So yeah, they can actually ignore you. You want to know why? Because of what you said earlier. Jeff Bezos can just sell his shit and just run.
His
There-
shares no longer grants him anything.
No, he's
Economy
already did it.
crashed.
He already did it. He already sold his shares.
Okay, now we decide that money doesn't work anymore.
What? What? How
What
the
is
fuck
gonna
you
do?
do that? How the hell you do that?
Stalin did it. You get enough people, you can just do something else actually. You don't have to erase money. You just have to create a new currency
Oh my
and
god.
use that instead.
So we're just talking about reinventing capitalism. Like what are you
No, no,
talking
no.
about?
My system, my way of resisting capitalism works even if I were not a communist, because I can just decide that okay, you know what? Money is not that bad, but I'm just gonna use another type of money. I'm just gonna use I don't know.
Bitcoin.
mm, Yeah, uh, worldwide we decide that we use another form of currency than what the billionaires have just cashed in. What they're gonna do? Who now that their money is worthless? What are they gonna do?
I
How are
mean,
they gonna?
good luck. You can always try to do that. You can always try to do that, but you're talking. So what you're talking about is actually way more absurd than what I proposed, which is just like subtly gaining wealth through like
It
realistic
is more
means. Hold
absurd,
on,
but
hold on,
mine
hold on.
works.
No, 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 it doesn't. Because you would never. Like you're talking about building a currency that's larger than the U.S. dollar. This is like literally like it's a
Not
glow. It's
larger.
a
Okay,
yeah.
okay. What do you think? What do you think the currency is based on?
The U.S. dollar.
What is it based on?
It's not based on shit no more. We got off the gold
No,
standard.
it's based on the trust if you that if you use it to pay something, the people will actually do the things that you paid them for. That's how any currency works.
Yeah, but it was just
That's what
linked to
currency
gold.
are
It
for.
was it was just linked to gold before, which is really just kind of fucking stupid anyway. What
Yeah,
what what value does gold inherently have?
people
None.
linked no people linked the value to gold because it was a resource that for everybody else was valuable. That's the thing. If you just decided
Let me
that
ask you.
gold
Let me ask you
didn't wasn't
what
valuable,
that gold is also invaluable, just as you say the money is. What use is that gold is currency just as much as that dollar? The only reason that we use the dollar is because we don't fucking want to walk around with gold bricks in our fucking pockets all the time.
exactly.
I don't use the gold. That gold also has no inherent value to me. It's a resource, yeah, that's limited, that we use for fucking jewelry. Like that's it. And
No,
like
gold is used in a lot of production, but
yeah, and electronics and whatnot.
the
But
reason
still,
why gold was used is because most people, most countries found that it was a reliable form of wealth. If you had gold, you were wealthy. That's how it worked. It as it works now, it's just a way to make people think you're wealthy. That's how it always works. That's what money is. Instead of showing you the thing, instead of let's say demonstrating that I'm like wealthy, there's the demonstration of my wealth.
so
One US dollar.
what are you gonna base the value of your currency on?
I'm just gonna say that it's a dollar. I'm just gonna call it another thing.
You're gonna base it on the
Now,
value of the dollar?
no, I'm gonna base it on the value of the countries that I basically. This I'm talking about a worldwide revolution here.
Mm-hmm.
If a worldwide revolution happens and we change the value of the money, or better, we just don't use money at all, then the capitalists cannot do shit. There's no escaping. There's no doing anything. They cannot do anything now. It's over. We won.
So what can you do?
Spread communism as much as possible.
That's
That's
it?
the only
No, I'm
thing we
saying
can
like
do.
what can the average worker do without money?
Join a union.
And and
Join a
and
union and
and do
make
what?
people until you're big enough. Just sit.
Just sit?
When you're big enough, just do it.
Do what?
Stop working.
So what do
Make the
you
economy crash.
how do I know when it's my time to when I'm big enough?
20% or more. It's
No,
based
no,
on
no,
the
no. I'm
things that
saying
you
we're
do.
saying
It can be much less.
you're in power now, or worldwide
Yeah,
revolution, right?
yeah.
We already took the power from the communists or
From the
from the
capitalist.
capitalists. Yeah, my bad. Uh, so what do we do once we take the power from them?
Okay, we decided that we are still gonna use money because it would be very strange to suddenly stop using money. We are just gonna do exactly what you want to do. We are gonna make we are gonna make uh, all the things that you want to make, all the good things that you want to do, except there is no capitalist class. The world works fine without a capitalist class. You cannot bring an example of why the capitalists are necessary.
So you're
Do
just
you?
saying like we're just gonna go over to the, so is there still gonna be a state?
For the first times, yes. I
Is there
believe that the state should not exist, but
no classes, no complete equality?
if you still have money, you cannot have complete equality. But we are gonna work towards that.
Let's say we abolish money. Well, we'll give you
Yeah.
whatever concessions you want, right?
Hmm.
You abolish money. How do you deal with religion?
Religion? What?
Yeah, you don't believe in
How is that a
hierarchy.
problem?
You believe in hierarchies? Are you a hierarchical Marxist?
No.
So the religion creates a hierarchy. Don't you think?
No. There
No?
can be religion without hierarchies.
Oh, really? Is that what
Yeah.
Marx said?
I don't know. I don't care.
You don't care? I thought you were a
Marx is.
Marxist.
Hmm?
You know what it
Do I
says.
have?
You know
Do I
what
have to
Marx thought
be?
about religion.
Yeah, I know. Why should I care? Does this system stop working if I don't do that?
Yeah, because it still creates a hierarchy.
What hierarchy?
Bro, you've never seen like how religion creates like influence and they get power. You don't think that
Yeah,
you and you
that's
don't,
democracy.
that's what? It's not based off of
Yeah,
anything. Fuck, bro, what?
and every fucking ethical position is based on nothing.
No, it's not true. That's not true. That's not true. So you said every
What is
ethical position is based on nothing?
It's based on what we believe, exactly as religious people.
No, not true.
What do you base your ethics on?
It depends on what moral framework you use. I'm a consequentialist utilitarian, and I use a logical framework.
So you chose to use that framework. Why?
Well, I mean, I've always like thought this way, but like the reason why
Exactly.
I mean that's not why I choose to hold this framework, but like I'm just it's just an observation. But
That's the problem.
why I choose to hold this,
In
why I choose to keep this moral framework is because it's beneficial, it's progressive, it advances society, and it's
how do
objective.
you
It's
define? The
objective.
thing
That's
is,
why it's objective. It's not subjective. Logic is
how
objective.
do you define if something is good objectively? How do you do that? Good is a
Logic,
objective term.
logic.
No, it's not.
What?
What if I said that for me, a world in which everyone is able to kill everyone is a good world? How do you argue against me?
What? Where a world where you think that killing people is a good thing? How do I
Yeah,
argue against
I
that? Because
believe that committing homicide is good, actually.
oh, that's pretty easy. It goes completely against fucking human evolution and survival. It's
I
completely
don't
anti.
believe in that. I believe that it is good for humans to go extinct.
Well, you can believe that, but you'd be wrong objectively.
Also,
Well, I mean, if there's no humans, then there's no people here to fucking do anything.
I believe that it should be that way. That is my end goal, ending humanity.
Well, that's just
I
wrong.
think it is good. How do you counter me?
Hello, all right. Oh boy.
That is the
Well,
point.
I'm a
Good.
utilitarian. Like I
Yeah,
don't see. There's no
you can
utility. There's
explain.
no
No, no.
utility in that. There's no utility in that.
Why would I use utility to do good, to measure good?
to measure good.
You cannot. Good is
No, no,
subjective.
no, 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 no. Well, no. Hold on. That's not true. What you're talking about is moral relativism, right? It can be
Yeah,
subjective, right? Because what might be perceived good to me might be good or might be bad to someone else. That's moral
yeah,
relativism. That's not that's somebody that's using a different moral framework.
yeah.
If everyone was to
No,
use my moral framework, right? If everyone was to abide by my moral framework, then that wouldn't be considered a good thing to kill everyone because that doesn't align with the moral framework.
exactly. So how are you gonna? That was my point. That was my point. If you use your moral framework, that's the point.
What? What's the point? Please articulate it.
That if people don't use your moral framework, you cannot like you can make a rational explanation of your moral framework, but if people just don't want to use it, you cannot argue with them, right? You
Yeah,
cannot.
I can educate them.
How they think that it is actually good to kill people. How are you gonna educate that? They think that the end of
Well,
humanity is good.
there's a lot of work to begin there, but I mean I'm not a fucking behavioral psychologist, so I don't really know the mechanisms as to what causes somebody to believe that. But
Mhm.
I would say I would start by like showing them that there's obviously like a lot more to than just fucking I don't know trying to fucking kill everyone. I don't know, like
Okay. My point
you're
is that
asking me a very specific
people,
question that
okay,
like
no, people that are religious don't work in another framework than I do. Not at least on a
and that's a
certain thing.
problem. That's a problem. We're not on the same page.
They work on the same page. Most people work on the same page.
Not on the same moral
Only
fucking
very
page.
strange individual. Like think about it. Do religious people think it's, for example, good to end humanity? No, right?
No, dude, hold on. Certain religious people think that it's good to end certain parts of humanity. Okay, there's plenty of fucking racist fucking religious people out there. Okay,
There are a lot of non-religious racist people out
you
there.
can be religious and be whatever you want, just like you can be atheist and be whatever you want. Because
Okay,
if
then
you
why is religion bad, especially?
because
Why can't
because if we abide by a religious system, right, that allows for only like you can only do like there's no way to have accountability in that sort of system. But in a secular system, there is definitely like we have laws, right? And those are secular, right? So we can
okay,
provide
what if the law is wrong?
the laws. Well, we do in a democracy. We determine what the law is. It's determined based
Yeah,
off our
we
morals.
are in a democracy
Then
already.
that's why we amend our laws.
What do you think is more of a the merit of democracy right now? Having religious people or having capitalists? Just a question.
What do I think is more
Just a
important?
quick question.
What do I think is more important to removing?
Yeah, not right now. Would you, if you could press a button and one says capitalists just stop existing and what they own goes to the
Hmm.
state and a state that is democratized.
Let me let
So,
me let me look up one thing real quick. Hold on. I think I might have an answer to this. So
mhm.
I'm leaning towards pushing the button of religion because I'm pretty sure that religion has caused way more deaths
In
than
America.
no.
Wait, wait,
I'm
wait,
talking all
wait, wait,
time. I'm
wait.
talking all time. Talking
Okay,
all time.
what do you think that in America for the first like 50 or 60 years was religion right leaning or left leaning?
I don't know. I would say probably right leaning.
No, it was left leaning. They were
Oh yeah, they were, yeah, because they were all about
compared.
freedom. Yeah, they were very left. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so you can hold a religious view. I think it's better to not have religion, but I wouldn't outlaw religion like why?
Because
Why would I
religion
outlaw religion?
because religion has caused a lot of harm. So let me there's like estimates of like this shit like killing like billions of people
But
because of
was
like
it religion or
yes,
was it
yes, it was religion because there's been plenty of like a majority of the wars that we have fought had a religious fucking reason behind them. We've had literal fucking religious
you know
crusades.
what is a pretext? You know what a pretext for a war is?
What do you mean by that?
A pretext is what let's say maybe is the let's say philosophist, they're doing the same thing. It's obvious why religious philosophers are lower. It's
What?
obvious they
Why? What?
because religion already has an ethic. There is a split between religion and philosophy. That there was a split, there still is. They are doing the same thing with two different names.
Still, it's you don't see that you're yeah, but you're getting caught up on philosophy. But like I think that it's a lot
And
more.
do the next one then. Let's see the next
No,
one. The next
that was where it ended. But
one.
what about the 7%? You don't think that
I
is
th- I think the more you are, I would in your like in your scenario, I just need to educate people. No, if I educate people, much less people are gonna be religious, right?
what that educated people are going to be less religious? Yeah, I mean it's just a fact.
Yeah, then why do I need to outlaw religion if I just can educate them?
Well,
Why do I need to outlaw them?
you don't necessarily need to outlaw it, but you need to make like a system that enables like a complete separation of church and state.
Which I never was in favor of.
Well, I mean, I don't think that the
What was the
focus.
point then?
I mean, It sounded to me like you were saying that we need like to
No, you
allow.
said that my communist ideal would fail because of religion or
Yeah,
something
because it
stupid.
creates a hierarchical structure. You can't have perfect equality under a hierarchical structure.
Why does it create a hierarchical structure?
Because the influence there's literally a hierarchical structure to religion. You have like the priests at the top, and you got fucking the little ministers or
You can
whatnot.
have no. You can have a pretty democratic religion. It's just that
A
religion,
democratic religion.
yeah, the
Uh,
church. What is the
we don't.
main?
Please give me an
No,
example
it's
of a
pretty easy
democratic
how to
religion.
create a democratic religion. Yeah.
I don't I don't see many people following your vote for Pope 2020 or fucking
Mhm.
religion. I've never seen that religion.
You,
As far as I know,
more
Christian.
than 50% of Americans did not vote in these elections.
I'm talking about religion.
Yeah, and I'm saying to you, it's a system problem, not a people's problem, not a religion problem either. It's just the system is not working. If I can
Religion
make a
is just
system,
one of those problems. Religion is not the sole problem. You
I,
think I'm just saying that religion is the only problem? No, I'm saying
I mean, what? Okay, then tell me another problem because this doesn't seem to be the end of communism.
well, you also have other people that are like you can't remove inequality. There's going to be other people that are racist as well. How are you gonna perfectly educate everyone? Because that's the problem at the end of the day. If you don't educate everyone, there's going to be people that are racist. Just like there was in the there was a
I
lot of
am not
racism.
I'm not
in the
for
USSR.
abolishing government. I'm just for abolishing state. These are not the same thing.
Yes, but you're still gonna have uneducated people that do uneducated bullshit and fuck up what you got going
Yeah,
on.
I just have to have the majority of people recognizing that this is bullshit and not doing it, not following them.
The majority. So now we're not talking about 20% anymore. Now we're talking about over 50.
I just need 20% of workers to go on strike to crash the economy. Then the capitalists are either gonna help us, which they never did, or they're gonna turn on us, and then we revolt. I mean,
But
if the capitalists
how
will
does
use
this
their
how
wealth to
does
fix the
this
economy, good for you.
how does this get you to get 50%, the majority of people, as you say, to to be educated? How do you get like
Not educated, pro my revolution. Then they get educated.
yeah, so like you don't need 20%, you need 50%.
It's democracy, isn't it? Like we need at least 50% to do anything.
Okay, but like I don't
We are
see how
talking about ending capitalism. We are not
okay,
talking about
and so how do you plan on spreading this idea without people so like the capitalists, let's say you want to do your revolution and the capitalists spread
exactly like
paint you as a
Martin Luther
terrorist.
King did.
What? Go out as a martyr?
Peaceful protest, peaceful protesting. There are a lot of ways to do it.
Martin Luther King just went out as a martyr. That was what he did.
Yeah, do the same.
So you're just gonna be a martyr.
Yeah, if it needs to be.
I don't see that as achieving shit. Plenty of people have gone out as being martyrs. I think my plan of just
Martin Luther King
abiding.
achieved.
I think my
I think it
plan.
was something that was impossible at the time. It was considered impossible to end segregation at the time.
Well, I think that my plan of abiding by a legal system to enact change through legal means and slowly building upon that process over time is a lot more realistic than getting people to get off their ass and start a fucking revolution. Because
I mean, they don't have to start a revolution. They
you
just
can't
have to do
even get
nothing.
people to get off their ass to fucking to
Martin
to
Luther
do
King
jack
did.
shit.
Martin Luther King put people on the street.
He
Back
did it. Well,
then,
hold on. Did
they
he
were
put?
getting
Did he
shot.
put? Did he put 50% on the street though? Hell no.
No,
Hell
he
no.
put a large amount of the black population that was roughly around like 10% or something, even less, I think. Yet it was still successful because you know what happened? The state brutalized them, went against them, and the majority of the people said, fuck this. This is not good. Why are we why are we killing them? Why are we brutalizing them? It doesn't make sense. They are like us. Why are you killing them? The same thing that if let's say the state were to force people back to work, they would be, there would be person that a majority of people said, "What? If I stop working, then you're gonna do this? What the fuck?"
What do you think stop working and do this is? Because do this would just imply that they just hire somebody else. Because
That
that's
is,
what that's what
I
usually the corporations try to do when their workers revolt is
yeah,
they try to fire them and just
not
move on.
20%. If 20% decide to just not work and not get re-employed, you're not gonna have enough. You're not gonna replace them. You cannot replace them. You tell me
Well,
what the
uh,
amount of homeless people are in America right now,
look,
if you know.
I gotta get off here. We've been going at this for a little while.
Yeah,
We can we
okay,
can
okay.
we can continue this later.